welcome to Watkins, Glen, New York, a home away from home for Scottish racing drivers. In 1961, Innes Ireland became the first Scotsman to win a Grand Prix. Innes's Lotus colleague Jim Clark went on to win 3 times at the Glen, but who will be monarch of the Glen today? It's time for Grand Prix Legends, live here on the Global Sim Racing channel. I'm Peter Mackay and I am privileged to be joined in the booth by the better half of Double Scotch, Ryan Walker. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Ambrose, using camera angles perfected by Dougie Beard. Now, Watkins Glen is absolutely dripping in history and heritage, and here is our GSRC track guide to tell you a bit more about it.
Welcome to Watkins Glen International. Situated in upstate New York just south of the Finger Lakes, this track has seen it all. Few road circuits can boast hosting Formula One, IndyCar, NASCAR, and IMSA during its history. Though it did have a brief fallow period in the early 80s, thanks to the investment of local companies, it's grown into one of the premier road tracks in the U.S. With 4 layouts to choose from that range between 2.5 and 3.5 miles in length, lap times can vary greatly. But it also means it's suitable for lots of different levels of racing, from amateur to pro. The one thing that stays consistent no matter which car and which layout you're using is that Watkins Glen means speed. Many of the straights are very long and the majority of the corners are fast sweepers. Some of them include a surprising amount of banking as well. Combine that with the proximity of the barriers and this historic circuit retains a very old school feel. Drivers in lesser powered cars can expect drafting battles, while higher powered machinery will test the skill and bravery of their pilots. Some of the turns are visually iconic, such as the carousel and the S's. Others, like the inner loop, the chute, and turn 9, greatly challenge even the expertly skilled. And of course, we haven't even mentioned the drastic amount of elevation change drivers experience. Between its rich history and popularity among drivers, this track stays busy and seems likely to be that way for a long, long time.
So there you are. That is what the drivers have up against them today here at Watkins Glen. Ryan, it's always a pleasure to have you back in the commentary box here on GSRC for Grand Prix Legends, but I know you like the finer details of each particular circuit. Tell us a bit about them.
Yeah, absolutely. This fantastic Watkins Glen track was first opened in 1956, so this track's been around for quite some time. It's went through some safety changes in the past, and famously it's hosted the Formula One Grand Prix in the 70s and 80s, and it's hosted some NASCAR road racing as well, along with the FIA GT Championship back in 1999. And also the IMSA WeatherTech Championship, along with the Grand Am Series, and also the Atlantic Championship. But today it will be host to the Grand Prix Legends Series, and this 7-turn track is 2.45 miles in length, and today we'll be using the classic layout, and the passing places you'll probably see, or the best places to make a move, will probably be down into turn 1, and then you've got that tight twisty section through turn 2 and turn 3 and up through turn 4, and onto the back straight you'll probably get your best opportunity to make a move, or even on the exit of turn 5 on the outer loop heading down to turn 10 and turn 11. But 43 cars today around this fantastic track. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, 43 cars around a pretty short circuit is going to be absolutely extraordinary to watch. Of course, let's have a look at the championship standings and see how we're looking with just 3 rounds left of the Grand Prix Legends series. Mick Claridge, he has not been defeated in this season. Winner last time out at Okayama, leads by 35 points from Rob Olenek, who has been a constant threat throughout the championship. Torpi Kortenemi sits in third, 92 points back, with Ove Trengerade in fourth and Bill Tyler in fifth. How are the F2 championship standings looking, Ryan?
So in the F2 championship, it's still really close at the top, and it looks like it's coming down to a two-car battle in the championship, with Andre Schumacher still leading that but only by 5 points, because last week he had a disaster of a race and did not finish. Chris Henler is still keeping up the pressure in second, with Emmanuel Pereira in third, 50 points further back, with John Olsen from the United States in fourth. And rounding out the top 5 is Finland's Jani Lehmann. But as I say, the F2 Championship, as we come towards the end of the season, is a 2-horse race by the looks of it.
And a very close one at that, so we'll have to keep a close eye on proceedings today here at Watkins Glen in that F2 Championship. Finally, we look at the Nations Cup, and at the moment we have the United Kingdom leading from the United States by just 20 points, so very, very close there at the moment, with Finland in 3rd, Germany 4th and France in 5th. Our drivers are already out on circuit right now, laying down the fastest lap times they can. At the moment, Rafael Dorado sitting up the top with a 106.1, and for a circuit that only takes just over a minute to go around and 43 cars, Ryan, lap traffic is going to be a constant threat today.
Yeah, absolutely. Just as you say that, Rob Olenek jumps to the top of the timesheets with a 105.9, so just under 0.2 of a second ahead of Finland's Torpi Korteniemi in 2nd. So a few surprises in qualifying, and in the race, I think we could be seeing some surprises as well.
I think, yeah, we might well do. Let's see, can Bruce Nelson spring a surprise? Not quite, but here's Rafael Dorado back again after his appearance last week at Okayama. So we'll see what can Rafael do. Of course, defending champion, or outgoing champion, we should say. He hasn't defended his title this year, just attended a couple of different races. He stays in 3rd position, does Rafael. Laus Olsen has, he's turned his Lotus 49 into a modified by the looks of things.
Quite possibly, yeah. As Manuel Pereira comes across the line now, and it looks like he doesn't improve. He'll stay in 17th, but Rob Olenek coming into the pits by the looks of it, and McLaren's not at the top of the standings. And there's Mick's coming across the line now, actually, as it looks like he could improve, and it looks like it's going to be round about a 105.9. So McLaren's, it looks like he jumps onto the front row.
He does, yeah, alongside Rob Olenek. And I believe this is not only Rob Olenek's home Grand Prix by country, but I believe by state as well. I think this is his home state. We'll need to double check on that one. But really, the main talking point here, Ryan, is it's got to be Don Peake in 26th position right now. That guy, he can wheel a race car. That Lotus 49, he just has that beautiful style where he just dances it on the edge of grip.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you're trying to sweet talk him by the way, Peter, but yeah, I think you're maybe trying to get a raise.
Oh, Ryan, we're Scottish. We're always looking for that. Whoa, so bit of a wild card here. Severin Pretorius Saling coming over the line, 107.8. Severin will qualify 26th position. Matt Wright now coming over the line in the 17 car. Coming from the land down under, 106.9 for him. And looks like our drivers are more or less all done. Of course, only 2 flying laps for the drivers here, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. At the moment, it's Hideki Koivisto comes across the line now and heading into turn 1, but yeah, there's some surprising in the qualifying. Just looking at the grid, and Torpi Korteniemi is one of them. But also, yeah, Bill Tyler up there in 6th as well. So good to see those guys up there at the moment.
Indeed, it is. Eugenie Massa does not improve. He will start from no better than 26th position. Marco Kika in the 11 car with a very bright red overalls. We'll certainly not struggle to see Marco out there on track. The 11th seed today, so ranked on his iRating, 11th highest in the field. Mick Claridge, the top seed today, I should say. Marco does not improve, but most of the drivers now have completed their qualifying laps, just getting some extra practice in, Ryan.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. Even if you've completed your qualifying laps, it's most of these drivers seem to go around just doing extra laps, getting extra practice, and maybe just trying some last-minute changes as Hideki Koivisto comes across the line now, and slightly improves, but he's still in P28.
He does. Of course, as we alluded to in the intro, this Watkins Glen circuit has been very, very kind to Scottish drivers over the years. Of course, Innis Ireland claiming the first ever Grand Prix win for a Scottish driver in 1961. And would you believe, Ryan, that was actually Lotus's first Grand Prix win as well, and the last ever Formula One win for a 4-cylinder engine.
Yeah, I never knew that. That's even though I'm into like history as well, I never knew that. So yeah, you find something new every day. As Marco Kika comes across the line now, and it looks like it's going to be he's improved slightly by a few thousands.
The only sad part to that story, Ryan, is that a couple of weeks after having that big win at Watkins Glen in Innis Ireland, he found out at the London Motor Show a couple of weeks later that he'd been sacked by Team Lotus.
That's not good.
That's a bit of an anticlimax, I know. So anyway, we're just about to tick over now into our race session. So let's have a look at the grid and see how they line up for the Grand Prix Legends Series here at Watkins Glen. Rob Olenek sits on pole position, just edging out championship leader Mick Claridge. Row 2 sees Topi Kortenemi and Rafael Dorado. Row 3 will be Ovi Trengrade and Bill Tyler. And row 4, Arto Himaki and Dave Price. Rounding out the top 10 is Andrew Schumacher and Gary Teal.
Starting in 11th is Michael Cook with the Australian Matt Wright alongside him in 12th. Colin Bentley starts in 13th with Finland's Marco Kika in 14th. Bruce Nelson in 15th with Chris Henley in 16th. Robert Plumley in 17th. John Olsen 18th. Glendellan Old in 19th. And rounding out the 20 is Laust Olsen.
Starting from 21st on the grid will be Philippe Urquhart with Matty Mosley joining him on row 11, Emmanuel Pereira and Roland Wald on row 12, followed by Dave Cohen and Eugenie Massa, Severin Pretorius-Saling and Hideki Kavisto on row 14. Row 15 sees Michael Griesinger and Steve O'Malley rounding out the top 30.
Starting in 31st is Kenneth Carlson with Van Dreng in 32nd, our very own Donald Peake in 33rd, Randy Huff in 34th, Peter Wojcicki in 35th with Cesare Piccolo in 36th, 37th Gary Anderson, Jeff Mortimer 38th. 39th is Ramon Papslowski and 40th is Jan Lehmann with the rest of the grid not setting a time, John Douglas, Robert Reynolds and Dirk Wagner.
If you look at that, all of the drivers lined up, actually winding their way around the final corner. So it's going to be a busy old day at Watkins Glen, and oh, what a sight. Cosworth DFV cam just on tick over. Look at that, Ryan. That is not an engine, that is an organ in a church of music.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, looks like we have got nearly all of our 44 drivers ready for the start. Mick Claridge and Rob Olenek on the front row of the grid. Olenek will have the inside line heading down into turn 1, but these cars are not easy to get off the line. They have very aggressive power delivery, so we'll see, can Mick Claridge pick Rob Olenek's pocket on the way to the line? We shall see indeed. So the lights are being prepared, up they go, and we are off. We are racing at Watkins Glen, and Rob Olenek is away down towards turn 1, but Mick Claridge is the match for him into turn 1, and he just about hangs on to it. And I tell you what, there looks like Ovi Trengrade trying to nudge in there too in third spot, but look at Claridge around the outside at the S's. Goodness me, that doesn't normally work.
Yeah, that was a bit. I thought there was going to be contact there, but everyone's managed to make it through the S is relatively clear at the moment, by the looks of it. As they're heading down to the outer loop, and remember, this is a layout not using the burst stop skin, and someone's going free wide behind. It looks like Kortenemi and Dorado.
Oh dear me. That's a tight squeeze through there, and Olenek and Claridge still swapping places. Back and forth they go. Dorado just behind there in the red and gold car, down towards, they're nearly at the end of the lap 1 already. Of course, the short layout is furious, and Olenek, oh my god, that's huge. Whoa, Andre Schumacher. Well, I hope nobody's got 3D glasses on, because I just had a moment. Oh no! Oh, and Olenek's off. It's a big one. Trengrade's off. The Rado, I think, off as well. Oh dear! I tell you what, Ryan. Any slim hope that Rob Bolanek had of challenging for this championship, that's just gone up in smoke.
Yeah, we're looking at the replay now, and it looks like Rob Bolanek just got sideways when he got on the power, and he tagged. I think that was Cortinelli he might have tagged, but he just basically caused a bottleneck effect, and Ovi Trengrave was caught up in that as well.
He was. So back to our leader, Mick Claridge. What an explosive start to this race here at Watkins Glen, and Mick Claridge, he will be breathing a bit of a sigh of relief. His main championship rival, Rob Bolanek, out of the race, and that is pivotal with just 2 rounds to go after this one. But there is an opportunity now. Topi Cortinemi's right there. I think he's nursing a tiny bit of damage from that melee, but a little bit on the nose there. But Rafael Dorado, it looks like he actually got through clean, Ryan, and we know how quick Rafael is, so we could be in for a wee bit of a dust-up between the old rivals.
Yeah, there's a ride on board with Rafael Dorado heading into turn 1 now, and this is one of those corners that you can use that cambered nature of the corner to get a great run. As Topi Cortinemi puts in the fastest lap of the race so far, but Rafael Dorado just waiting in the wings there, and he was having a great race at Okayama last time out, and unfortunately it just fell to pieces in the closing stages. But Rafael Dorado, he could be the dark horse in this battle.
Yep, he could well do, and like you say, he was just unlucky last week at Okayama, but Topi Cortinemi, he's got off the groove there, and he has to let Dorado through. Now, can Dorado push on and try and catch up with Mick Claridge? Because we know, Ryan, you cannot let Mick Claridge get away, because once he's in that rhythm, you just can't stop it.
Yeah, that's the thing with Mick Claridge as well. I've said that a few times before this season, that he's just a maestro in this car, and like you say, once he gets in the zone, he just starts to pull away and build up a bit of a gap, and he's doing that at the moment. And so Cortinemi and Dorado can't afford to scrap too much, otherwise Mick will just take advantage and just build up that gap. But as the battle for P5 is going on at the moment between, it looks like Gary Teo and Michael Cook and Marco Kiko, and a bit of a trend starting to form by the looks of it.
There is indeed, yeah. There's quite the train here. It's about 6 cars battling over the top 5, or the fringes of the top 5, as they fly through that amazing S's section, which in a car with downforce is more or less just hold it flat and you're fine. But in these cars, oh no, that is such a dancing act, going through the opening S's and then around this wonderfully cambered outer loop here as well, and then down through. You miss out, of course, the boot section, which only came in 1975 by my notes. So we're back at the front then. Rafael Dorado and Topi Cortinemi battling over second. Now this is exactly what Mick Claridge needs, because if Dorado and Cortinemi are backing each other up, then that will allow Claridge to escape. And just as we say that, a 106.1 at this stage of the race, Ryan, that is absolutely extraordinary. But 25 laps to go, so 25 laps of fuel left, and that's nearly a pole position lap time he's just set there.
Yeah, I was just about to say that's pretty much close to what they were doing in qualifying. So Mick Claridge is definitely not hanging around, and I'm not sure. I don't know if he can or not, but I would love to see a replay of that incident with Andrew Schumacher flying in the air, because that was just wow.
Oh, you do, Merchant. Oh dear. That was poor Andre. He's probably still going. He's probably still bouncing on his wheels. That was oof. I have to say, I've not got 3D goggles on, but I actually ended up finding myself ducking in the in the commentary box here. I nearly knocked over my scotch, but not quite as well. So Mick Claridge, he is putting on a clinic here, and I'll tell you what. Here's a question for you, Ryan. I don't see much getting in the way, in Mick's way, of him having a perfect season, and for all the races that he's entered, I think it's just so imperious. I think he could sweep the whole season.
Yeah, well, I don't want to jinx him, but it's not. It's a good possibility. As this battle behind him for second place is still going on at the moment, and Cortinemi and Dorado are still going at it, and the more these guys go at it, the more Claridge is just taking advantage and saying, "So on, guys, I'll see you later."
Yep, that's exactly it. And the drag race up to the outer loop, Dorado very, very keen to hold the inside line, but look at Cortinemi goes up high. It's like oval racing here. Round he goes around inside, and he's going to get the run. And now he has the inside line, and Dorado will have to give best here, coming into the final sector, which is another switchback, another left and then a right. Now, not really an overtaking opportunity here. Maybe stop Rafael Dorado though, but as you mentioned but pre-broadcast, Ryan, looks like turn 1 could be an opportunity for a bit of a block pass.
It could indeed, as it looks like Dorado again at the moment. I think it looked like he was going to go for a move, but he decided against it. I think Dorado's best chance of trying to make a move is on the exit of the S's there. If he can keep up that momentum and just get the run on Cortinelli and use that slipstream, I think he's got a good chance of trying to make a move into that outer loop.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, the only thing is if you go for that move into turn 1, you absolutely kill your run all the way up towards the outer loop. So, look at that. Topi Cortinelli is weaving from side to side. Now, what he's trying to do there, viewers, is trying to break the slipstream effect on Dorado's car. So basically, at the moment, Topi Cortinelli is punching a big hole in the air for Rafael Dorado's car to swoop through. So Cortinelli trying to disturb that bit of slipstream there, and doing quite a good job of it as well, because if he'd stayed steady, then, well, Dorado would have possibly had a bit of a run there as well. But I think actually, if these guys want to go for the race win, they're going to have to work together, and I think that's playing into Dorado's mind right now.
Yeah, quite possibly, as the battle for P4 at the moment is actually starting to get a lot bigger as well. The pack's getting a lot bigger because it looks like Dave Price has got Gary Teal, Cook, Bill Tyler, Marco Kika, and it looks like Mark Wright as well in this pack. So yeah, we could, you know how Jarno Trulli used to get known for having a train. This is called the Price train.
Yep, the Price train. It's well, tell you what, we could talk about train prices here in ScotRail, or ScotRail as they're called. Train prices is far too expensive, but anyway, I digress. 8 laps in here at Watkins Glen, and well, you see someone going wide there at the back of the pack, but at the moment, Nick Claridge 3.5 seconds to the good. Now, what I want to know, Ryan, is what how close is Don Peake to the lap record, because he must be breaking it by now.
I'm not sure, but yeah, he should be. I think he'll be getting closer, that's for sure.
Absolutely, yep. He'll be wheeling that car on the limit. So, Don Peake, here we are in a battle for P24. There he is in the 32 car, and that beautiful white and red GSRC machine. And oh, look at that line! Look at that, just on the ragged edge of performance. Into the final corner he goes, just backs it in on the brakes. Look at that! That's style. Look at that.
Yeah, that was pretty much majestic. It's yeah, I'll raise a glass of Scots to that.
As will I, Ryan. Yes, that is. If Don Peake was a whiskey, he'd be a 35-year-old Macallan. He's the finest. So we go then to the front. I think we might be in for that race, Ryan. You never know. Cortinelli and Rafael Dorado up and battling over the runners-up spot. I think Mick Claridge has checked out, so I think we might see this battle heat up quite quickly over the next few laps. The only slightly external circumstance though, Ryan, is all of the lap traffic, which is going to get heavier and heavier as the race progresses, and it just takes one tiny tangle and that can flip the race on its head.
Yep, absolutely. They're starting to come through back markers now, and the first of them was Robert Reynolds. It was Robert Reynolds. I just had to double check there, but yeah, these guys, I keep saying it, if they keep scrapping away, Mick Claridge is going to build that gap and get bigger, makes it bigger and bigger. There's a rider on board with Gary Teal at the moment, and he's behind Dave Price, and I think he's got the run heading down to the outer loop where he go for a move. It looks like he's got actually decides against it.
Oh, that was a big lift out there as well. So decided that the price was not right and decided to stay behind there and but live to fight another day. That is a really interesting little piece of strategy there from Gary Teal, Ryan, because it looked like he had a plentiful run there to at least attempt to move on Dave Price, but perhaps Gary thinks that Dave's just got that bit better pace, and actually there's more benefit at this point in the race for Dave to kind of do the heavy lifting and pull them along a bit.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, on the other hand as well, I think maybe Gary was thinking, I don't want to go for a move and then maybe have both of us have contact, because it's so easy to make a move and lock up and tag another car around. So maybe that's playing on his mind as well. If I go for a move or just going too deep, I might end up tagging him.
A very good point indeed. And these cars, when they make contact, they can tangle with each other, of course, big open wheels, so you have to be considered. So here again, Gary Teal had a run there, just blended out of it, and Dave Price goes very, very wide, and Gary Teal goes, okay, round I go. That is a strange one, Ryan. That didn't look like a mistake from Dave Price, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think maybe Dave thought Gary was maybe up the inside and he didn't want to turn into him, but I believe we might have a replay of the incident with André Schumacher at the start of the race.
Well, stand back, folks. Here comes a big one. They say that it's the big one you get at Daytona and Talladega, but my goodness me, this qualifies for it. So we'll bring that up for you in just a moment of what happened to André Schumacher. Let's have a look then on our GSRC replay. Okay, so let's get a look and see what... There's André there in the... no, here he is. Yes, here we go. Gets a little dodge with Dave Price. So Dave Price is on the left, and look at that, André Schumacher in the 22 car with the blue and white with a white cap. He gets hit by Dave Price, hit from behind, and oh my word. Oh. And sticks the landing. That was a big one. I'm surprised that Dave Price is able to carry on at such a pace even with that front nose damage.
Yeah, absolutely. The battle for P8 is going on at the moment between Marco Pica and it looks like Matt Wright as well. So yeah, these guys have been close together since the start of the race and doing well sitting inside the top 10. Matt Wright started 12th up into 9th. Marco Pica started 14th and up into 8th.
Yeah, good run so far from these guys up into the thick end of the top 10. So let's go back to our leader, Mick Claridge. I mean, we say it a lot, don't we, Ryan? I mean, you know you're doing a good job in the lead if you don't get much camera time. It feels like we haven't seen Mick on track much, but another 106.1. So he's just out there doing qualifying laps. And, I mean, you just have to sit back in amazement, don't you?
Yeah, you do. And Mick Claridge, he's been around in the Lotus 49 for God knows how long, and he's always been... just being right up there and put on a great display, and at the moment he's doing it again, and I don't know what that is. He's just, that'll probably sound like a bad comparison, but he's sort of like the Michael Schumacher of the Lotus 49, I feel like.
Yeah, I know. Well, I would say that's a very good comparison, because Michael Schumacher was known for being the most prepared driver in the world and put in so much, stepped up the level of Formula One so much, and I think Mick is the same. What I took away from Mick's post-race interview last week, Ryan, was it's got a bit of fun with a bit of slide there, was that for Okayama he put in 8 hours of practice no, it was more than that, wasn't it? But it was an extraordinary amount. But that just shows you that, and the thing is, doing practice, it can be pretty boring sometimes, you know. So to be able to put in so many hours during the week, that is what's required to be as dominant as this. It does not come easy.
Yeah, absolutely. As this battle is still going on at the moment, and yeah, these guys are really close now. Gary Teal, Dave Price, Michael Cook, and also joining them now is Bill Tyler, and also not too far behind as well. You've got Marco Pica and Matt Wright, so we could go on for, instead of a 4-car battle, we could go on for about a 5 or 6-car battle very soon.
We could indeed, yeah. I think that's a matter of when, not if, I think, as they go over the stripe. So we're about half race. We are right on half race distance here at Watkins, Glen, New York, and what a wonderful place to come and race these classic Grand Prix cars at a facility and a very similar layout to what they would have experienced back in the late 1960s. And actually, would you believe when they came to Watkins Glen in the 1967 season, Ryan, when the Lotus 49 was really getting into its stride and was so much more dominant than any other car really in the world at that point. And Graham Hill and Jim Clark were so far ahead in practice that Sir Walter Hayes, who commissioned the Cosworth DFV engine in the back of this car, he actually said that they were so far ahead that they should flip a coin before the race to see who should win. And Graham Hill won the toss, but unfortunately broke down, so Jim Clark went on to win anyway.
Oh, was it? I think Dave Price got a bit sideways.
Yeah, so Dave Price getting back by there on Gary Teal. Just a little bit of a mistake. Of course, Dave, I have to say, Ryan, Dave Price has got my favourite livery in this series, the Kenny Roberts Yamaha 500 speed block colours. Absolutely fantastic. And I always like a little bit of a motorcycling reference.
Yeah, me too. And I'm a bit of a... don't watch it as much as I used to ages ago, but I'm still like keeping it an interest in MotoGP from time to time. And I have to agree, I do love that livery from the Dave Price. Is like, I thought they were going free wide there down to the outer loop for a second.
Well, it's certainly getting very, very fruity there going into the outer loop, and Dave Price having to shut the door hard in the face of Cook there now, who's moved up past Gary Teal, who's just had to recover a little bit there. He's back in the other kind of striped machine alongside Bill Tyler, who sits at the back of this group. But Kika and Wright definitely on the way, and gee whiz, Mick Claridge another 106.000. He'll be into the 105s before we know it, Ryan.
Yeah, he's closing down on getting close to the qualifying pace, and it's again just proof that Mick is just so quick in the battle for P14 is going on at the moment between Chris Hengler, the second place man in the F2 Championship, and it looks like Matthew Maudsley.
Yeah, this is critical for Chris Hengler because, of course, Andrew Schumacher, his main rival in the F2 Championship, wrecked out on the first lap. So there's a great opportunity here for Chris to bag a chunk of points. And, of course, only 2 rounds to go after this one. So although the F1 Championship looks to be relatively sealed up by Mick Claridge, the F2 is going to rumble on for good. And you've got to feel for poor Andrew Schumacher because there was absolutely nothing he could have done to avoid that.
Yeah, absolutely not. And I have to agree as well, Chris Hengler, this is probably his best chance of taking advantage of Andrew Schumacher's demise in this race and trying to close that gap in the championship or even taking the lead. But at the moment he's doing a good job and just doing what he needs to do in 13th place.
He is, yeah, and just got to try and keep that car clean and avoid those incidents. Easier said than done, especially when this car can spring a surprise on you at any moment. It's got such an aggressive power delivery from that Cosworth DFV engine, about 400 horsepower, in a car that weighs about the same as a Caterham 7. So it's the power to weight ratio is extraordinary, and of course 1960s tyre technology, 1960s brake technology, so it's really a handful and requires a delicate touch. So Rafael Dorado is leading this battle that he's been in with Topi Cortinemi for quite some time, but Cortinemi not letting him away. They're still glued together and they're coming up against some lap traffic, and Ryan, this is still going to be a constant threat. There's a whole bunch of drivers which they'll be coming across over the next laps.
Yep, absolutely, and the one place that you don't want to catch traffic is this section here that they're just about to come up to, is this S's section, because if you get bogged down or held up behind a lap car through the S's or even on the exit of the S's, you just lose all momentum and it gives the driver behind you a chance to get a run on you.
It does indeed. So we are nearly at the 2/3 distance mark into the final stages of this Grand Prix here at Watkins Glen. Dorado leading from Cortinemi for second place at the moment. But who will prevail? They're sitting 7.8 seconds behind Mick Claridge. Absolutely extraordinary. Who sat in the 1 minute 6.1, 1 minute 6.2 almost for the entire race. Amazing consistency in a car which is anything but consistent in its behaviour. It could be a bit of a handful, as we've said. Look at that, look at this. And what amazes me on this as well, Ryan, is the suspension travel this car has.
Yeah, I've always found it fascinating as well, just the way watching this camera angle, watching the suspension just being worked, especially over this section or bumpy section here. Just watching the amount of load it gets put through, and as Dorado gets a bit sideways in the exit of turn 1.
Yeah, that's you're asking for the power. You're asking for the car to do a lot. You're coming off the brake. You're getting the power back on. You're straightening up the steering. It's having to do a lot of things at once. But here's Cortinemi. He's got a really good draft. Now, will he use it though? He's really. Oh, look at that. Dorado going to cover the inside line. This saying, I'm not going to give you it easy. Covers the inside. Cortinemi goes, okay, I'll try again. And I have to say, although Ryan, we're very much Scotchmen, I have to say I do like a nice glass of red wine, and I love this red wine coloured car that Cortinemi's in.
Yeah, me too. I do love that livery, and it looks cool. It looks simple. It looks like Cortinemi's got the run heading down to the final corner, and maybe he can use this cambered nature of the last corner to try and get a run or a good exit at least. And it looks like he's got a run his head down to turn 1, but will he try and make a move into turn 1, or will he try and wait until that S's section?
Well, that's the thing, because of course they've lost Mick Claridge's over 8 seconds up the road, and they've got a big gap behind as well, about 6 seconds back to Dave Price, who's in very much his own battle as well. So although it would slow them, they're not got places to lose, if you like. So it could be that Cortinemi could go for that kind of block pass into turn 1, but he's right on the gearbox here of Dorado. Dorado just quietly moving to the inside, just holding the middle of the circuit, very clever, doesn't compromise his entry too much, and then just gets it nice and parked on the apex, and then back on the power, and keeps Cortinemi behind. I tell you what, these Rafael Dorado, although he hasn't been with us for the majority of the season, Ryan, nothing wrong with his racecraft.
Absolutely not. And Cortinemi, he's got the run on the outside. Can he hold the inside? It looks like it. And he clips the inside curve, and that was so close to being contact. But these guys are absolutely giving us a good display of racecraft, and racing each other hard, but giving each other plenty of respect.
Yep, side by side, down into turn 1 they go. Dorado tries to hook it to try and get on that power early. They're going to go side by side through the S's. Now, this often is a recipe for disaster, but Dorado knows that. Very smart. Dorado just tucks in behind Topi Cortinemi to fight another day. Normally, when we see drivers trying to go side by side through the S's, it ends up in the fence.
It absolutely does, and the S is probably one of the sections that you can't really make a move around unless you get by before the start of it. As it looks like Dorado is going up the inside again of Topi Cortinemi into the outer loop, and it's just fantastic display of driving by these guys. This is awesome.
Yeah, it is. This is respectful as well. You see the drivers making sure that they're giving one another the room. This is a battle of strategy. I thought Rafael Dorado was gonna do the Grand Prix Legends COVID test there for a minute with an exhaust pipe up the nose cone, but not quite. So Rafael Dorado has to think of another way. Cortinemi has the second spot for now, but I feel this is going to change back and forth a few times before the flag, Ryan.
Absolutely. As we look back in the pack as well, we're looking at the battle for P4 between Price, Cook, Teal, Tyler, and I thought Marco Kiko was involved as well, but it looks like it's just a 4-car battle now as they head up through the S's.
Yep, Dave Price still holding strong, the 9th seed today, running in 4th right now, and remember he does not have a race car at 100% after that pretty heavy impact with Andrew Schumacher earlier on, but here comes Cook. Going to try and hook it around the outside here with the red helmet, the blue and yellow stripes there. And then goes to get it early on the power, trying to get a run down towards the final sector, which we've seen Topi Cortinemi has proved you can at least start a manoeuvre there as well, but thinks better of it. Dave Price very late on the brakes.
Yep, absolutely. As I head down to the final corner now, and I have to agree as well. I think Teal's maybe feeling a little effects, like maybe a lack of straight line speed, but some of that damage, but still doing a good job trying to keep Michael Cook behind him, as it looks like Cook's going to try and make a move up the inside, heading down to turn 1.
Oh, he's having a little bit of a look there as well, but Price is just keeping an eye in his mirror and then shuts the door hard. But look, here comes Gary Teal now as well. Gary Teal with Phil Tyler right on his gearbox as well. This is getting very crowded going through the S's, and that is respect between all the drivers there, and real awareness as well of the drivers around. If you just need the slightest contact there, and it can create a monumental mess. But on the brakes, Dave Price very, very strong, but Cook stronger and goes to hook it around. He's going to have to be very careful. Get this one sealed up. Oh, they touch wheels, and they're all in the wall. Oh, Dave Price has had a huge accident. That's taken Gary Teal with him as well. Now, can Gary stick the landing? No.
But Bill Tyler managed to survive that incident, and he is we're looking at the replay now, and I think Dave Price might have just ran a little bit wide and squeezed Michael Cook by the looks of it, and it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, I wonder if, I don't think maybe Dave Price is quite expecting to have a car right around the outside, but he did, and kind of shut the door and made the contact. So, well, that takes a number of protagonists out of the reckoning. Now, for Chris Hengler, that's another couple of spots and another couple of extremely valuable points. So, Andrew Schumacher, I'm sure, will be watching the broadcast right now, but he's watching in between his fingers, seeing Hengler gather points. Now, here's a bit of superstition for you, Ryan. Now, Chris Hengler is running the number 24, which I believe was Jeff Gordon's NASCAR number in the DuPont car. Now, he won here 4 times in 5 years, so I wonder if he's channeling his inner Jeff Gordon right now.
It's quite possible. You never know. Chris Hengler could be a Jeff Gordon fan as well, so yeah, Chris Hengler, after starting 16th, he's inside the top 10 now, and he's not been getting involved in any incidents or having any issues. He's just been having a nice clean race and just doing what he needs to do. And Andrew Schumacher's just probably thinking to himself, this is Nick good for the F2 championship.
Extensive use of the German language there, Ryan. I'm mighty impressed to see a bit more lap traffic to deal with as well for Cook, Tyler, Kika as well. Very, very busy in the midfield, but still Topi Cortinemi. Now just to see our change on our timing tower. Dorado and Cortinemi going side by side. Oh my word, round they go around the outer loop, and it's going to be just about Cortinemi, but he gets a little wiggle asking for the power. Rafael Dorado's got a little bit of an overlook. Is he going to try and dive hard on the brakes here? He's got to try and get it sealed up, because Cortinemi will get the switchback. There it is. They've got a bit of lap traffic. Dorado has to tuck in behind. Lap traffic gives a lot of respect there as well, so Dorado's going to have to come back and try again. 4 laps to go here at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, fantastic battle between these guys. It looks like Dorado's going for the move into turn 1, and absolutely just lunges up the inside and manages to get it stopped amazingly. But I think Cortinemi's got the run as well, heading through the SCs. That was so close.
Tell you what, Rafael Dorado had that car standing on its nose coming into turn 1. But Cortinemi has the draft, and he looks to have a really strong exit using every last centimetre of room. Dorado goes very defensive very early, knowing that Cortinemi's got the run. Now Cortinemi's going to have to hook it on the high side here. Rafael Dorado hugs the inside, desperately trying to hold on to it, seals the place up, but Cortinemi's got a big run. But can he make use of that run? He's on the outside now for this left-hander, but he'll have the inside for the next corner, the final corner of this lap. Here goes Cortinemi now as well. This is fantastic motorsport.
It is, and heading into the final corner, and Cortinemi clips that inside curve ever so slightly, so that'll compromise his exit. But it looks like Cortinemi leaves it out to Dorado across the line, and will Cortinemi try and make a move into turn 1? I don't think he's close enough. I think he's waiting until that S section, or even on the exit of the outer loop.
Yep, he's going to have to build the move up and try to make it down into the outer loop through the S as they go. Now, you don't have to worry about aero wash or anything like that. You can follow the car in front quite closely if you want to here in this car. Of course, very, very simple body design. No aerodynamics really to speak of. So we're riding on board with Topi Cortinemi, and I tell you what there, Ryan, he didn't appear to gather much ground at all from Dorado, but maybe just biding his time, just coming up with a plan for these final laps.
It's possible. I mean, Cortinemi, I think his best shot is maybe just waiting behind, planning what he's going to do. Is we've got just about to come to the line and just have under just under 2 laps remaining, and I think Courtenay, he's just planning what he's going to do, I think.
Yep, absolutely, I think so. So 2 to go here at the Glen. Let's look at the battle for 10th position, where Chris Hengler has got his hands full with Maudsley and Plumley and Pereira. So this is critical for Chris Hengler. He's got to get these championship points in the bag for the F2 championship. Andrew Schumacher, of course, out of this race, scoring no points. So this is a great opportunity, a great run from Chris Hengler. Of course, the 24th seed, but up in 10th position. It's been an extraordinary run. And you know, the thing is, Ryan, he's had huge pressure on him all the way through.
Yeah, just watching his the language of the way he's driving. He's not over driving. He's not running wide. He's not doing anything too silly. Just hitting his marks and doing what he needs to do. And I think if Maudsley gets a run on him, I don't think Hengler will fight too hard, because I think he'll be thinking of the long game and thinking about the F2 championship. Because as we've got just basically under 2 rounds remaining left after today.
We do. So we have taken the white flag. Mick Claridge already our leader, onto his final lap, going through the S's. Here he goes, and just in proper control of that race car, lapping drivers like they are standing still. Running the number, quite aptly running the number 1 plate today as the top seed, leading the championship, and this will continue his extraordinary 100% run here in the Grand Prix Legends Series. Hasn't been at every race, he's missed 2 or 3, but every race he's been at, he has won, and this will set him into pole position to claim the Grand Prix Legends Championship here for Season 1 in 2021. Oh, what have you spotted, Ryan? As Mick Claridge comes over the line to win, we go back further in the field where there's all sorts kicking off.
Yeah, it looks like Topi Courtenay went to go round the back marker, and unfortunately just got tagged and out of the loop.
Okay, we will get a replay of that for you very soon, dear viewers, but that means that Rafael Dorado will finish in 2nd position today here at Watkins Glen. A superb drive, and Michael Cook will end up on the podium after a very after an extraordinary end to this race. Now, can Chris Hengler hang on in the F2 Championship and bag a strong haul of points? He goes very defensive into the penultimate corner, covers it off to go into the final corner. Is he going to get his pocket picked? Again, very defensive, so he'll have to be careful on the run to the line. It looks like he's going to be okay. Chris Hengler will finish in 10th position and moves into the F2 Championship lead.
Yes, we're just about to look at the replay now of what happened to Topi Courtenay, and it was a bit of a weird incident. I think he went to go around the back marker, and maybe the back marker just got slightly caught out, possibly, as Topi Courtenay runs wide at the outer loop. Oh!
I didn't see which car that was, Ryan. Oh dear.
I'll leave it to you to explain, Peter.
Okay, so there's I think that's what they call a racing incident, Ryan, that can happen to anybody, and Topi Courtenay unfortunately caught up in it there. But we're going to take a very short break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We will be right back with official results and driver interviews. Don't go anywhere. welcome back to Watkins Glen, where we have seen battles up and down the field and action all the way through. Let's have a look at the race results. Mick Claridge winning by scarcely believable 15.8 seconds from Rafael Dorado, who won over from Topi Cortinemi, colliding with another car at the end of the race. Third place was Michael Cook, with Bill Tyler in fourth and Cortinemi classified fifth. Marco Kika was sixth, followed by Matt Wright, John Olsen, Gwendolyn Old finishing ninth, a good finish for Gwendolyn in the 18 car, and Chris Hengler getting a great chunk of points for the F2 Championship.
Yeah, and Robert Plumley finishes in 11th, for Matthew Maudsley after starting 22nd, finishing in 12th. Emmanuel Pereira finishes 13th. Yanni Lehman finishes in 14th, with 15th going to Kenneth Carlson, Dave Cohen in 16th. Peter Brzozowski in 17th, Randy Huff in 18th, 19th Michael Gringsinger, and 20th is Eugenio Massa.
Classified in 21st was the People's Champion, the number 32 Donald Peake. 22nd was Andrew Eng, followed by Steve O'Malley, Cesare Piccolo, Gary Anderson, Jeff Mortimer, Robert Reynolds, Roland Wallbank, Dave Price and Gary Teal, both getting involved in that late incident.
Yep, and finishing in 31st was Lyle Stolson with the first of his retirements, Colin Bentley 32nd. 33rd was Derek Wagner, Severin Pretorius Salin in 34th. 35th, Hideki Koivisto, 36th. Roman Pawlowski in 37th. Philippe Utkart, 38th. 39th, Rob Olenek, 40th. R2 Amaka, 41st, Ove Trengrade, Andre Schumacher, 42nd, and rounding out the retirements was John Douglas.
So we have our race winner joining us right now in the commentary box, Mick Claridge. Goodness me, you must be getting tired of the sound of my voice.
Yeah, not at all, mate. That was such an annoying race, wasn't it? How annoying could that? Couldn't have been any worse, could it, for Rob? Pretty boring up front. I hope you guys had something to watch behind. I really didn't know what was going on after Rob came off like that. So, yeah, shame, really.
Well, it was, there was plenty going on behind. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy watching it back, put it that way. Goodness. Well, I mean, it seemed, Mick, that early on from the lap times, you were into qualifying pace very early on. Now was that just getting hooked in and going, or was it, were you maybe just a little bit unhappy with your qualifying pace?
No, Rob's just on it today with his insane tyre pressures. 21 PSI he's using this week. He tried that because the word got around that you sort of have to treat this place like a bit of an oval, so maybe that was in the back of his mind and he thought, let me try that sort of thing, So he was just quick. I was in the fives in quali in that weather. That's a pretty good lap, but yeah, just couldn't get him. But yeah, that first lap, I'll talk you around that from my point of view. Got a good start, and then when we went into turn one, I heard Rob rev up in neutral, it sounded like, and I just thought, I'm in front of him, and I turned in for the first apex on the right, up the S's, and he was there next to me, so that was a bit scary. So then I looked in the mirror as we was going down to the carousel, and I just thought, no, not 4 wide. 3 wide's bad enough and impossible, not 4 wide, please, guys. So, and then when we got round the end of the lap, I didn't know what happened. I didn't know if I pushed Rob over onto the dirt there or anything. I'm pretty useless at judging that sort of stuff, to be honest with you, lately. So I spent the whole race sort of feeling a bit guilty and not knowing what happened. So it was such a shame for Rob. Rob was really up for this today, and it should have been such a classic race between all of us,
Well, it was. It didn't end up that way, but it was an extraordinary drive. Of course, heading two rounds to go, a pretty comfortable championship lead now. One hand on the trophy.
Yeah, I want to do well. Is it Sebring next? I think it's Sebring next, and then Road America. I want to do really well at those 2 tracks. Sebring, I'm not so sure I'll be as quick as Rob around there. He's a bit quick around that place. I've watched him in the Camel Series. And you take note, So yeah, and then Road America week 12 is going to be just great with that huge long straight, So no, I'm really looking forward to the last 2 races.
It's going to be a lot of fun too. My favourite circuits anywhere in the world, actually, those 2, especially Sebring. Mick, before we let you go, who would you like to shout out to here on GSRC?
Loads of people watching. I won't name them all, but I think my son's listening on his phone. So hello to him. Hello to all the guys back in Uxbridge. Probably not watching now. And never mess with the Mackenzie boys. They're still there. They're watching. Never, mate. That was Sean, by the way. He didn't. Oh, nobody hears you, did they, Sean? Yeah, don't mess with the Mackenzie boys. Yeah, they're serious guys.
They sound scary. They sound very scary.
They're two of the loveliest blokes you could meet.
Just don't cross them. Mick, thanks so much for coming in to chat to us, and well done on a superb drive today.
Cheers, guys. See you next week.
So that was our winner, Mick Claridge, and returning to the series and returning to the podium, Rafael Dorado is with Ryan Walker.
Yep, Rafael finishing in second place and had a great battle for second place with Topi Quartanemi. And then in the closing stages, Rafael, it seemed to be Topi dropped off. But that battle between you guys was just absolutely fantastic to watch. How was that for you?
Yeah, it was a really incredible battle. I think first time that I have a long battle with Topi, and the second time that I have a long battle with Thin during a race, because on Okayama I was battling with Mikoleno the whole race. So the Finns have discovered the Lotus 49, and they are pretty good, pretty fast. So I think I need to step up my game a little bit if I want to be in front, because they are driving really well here.
Yeah, it looked like also talking about lap one as well, by heading on to the start finish line, with all that mayhem kicking off. What did you think at the time? What was your reaction? Did you kind of what was the plan? Did you just back off, or did you kind of just keep it flat and hope for the best?
Well, when those types of things happen, I noticed that Rob was gonna spin, and you have to make a split decision whether you want to go left or right. I decided to go right, and it worked barely. I got a 4X, but fortunately I didn't feel anything. And it was more luck than skill, I would guess.
And then Watkins Glen as well, what did you think about it and this layout that we used for the Lotus 49? Is it a track that you'd like to see back on the schedule next season, and also this layout as well? Or would you like to see the full layout with the bus stops again?
I like both layouts, but I do like this layout in particular because all the corners are very technical. So even though it's a small track, the technique you need to have for each corner is extremely important. So it is actually challenging, I think, to be fast. Today I was not as fast as I was expecting. On Thursday, I managed to finish just behind Mick, and I think I could have done this today, but I don't know. I was just not feeling the grip as well as I was in practice, and also once I started to fight with Topi, I mean, all my focus was on trying to get to P2 and not necessarily on trying to keep up with Mick, and then Mick was able to pull a huge gap because me and Topi were fighting.
Looking ahead to Sebring next week, are you planning to race next week?
Yeah, I'll be there. Sebring is my first time in the Lotus 49, so I'll probably need to put some more time into it to be competitive.
And before we let you go, Rafael, anyone that you want to give a quick shout out to on the broadcast?
Shout out to the whole Lotus 49 community, a great group of guys. Also to my parents that are watching the race. Yeah, and to you guys on the GSRC, because you provide us with this amazing broadcast.
Great to hear. And that was Rafael Dorado finishing in second place, joining us. And I believe up next, Peter, you have got the Finnish driver, Topi Quartanemi, who was challenging for a podium, but unfortunately had the incident or an issue in the closing stages.
That's right. Topi, welcome to the GSRC commentary box. That looked like a hectic race with you and Rafael. Tell us about the battle.
It was just great racing. I never had raced with Rafael so close before. I've been driving behind him and in front of him, but actually battling like that never before. And I was positively surprised. It was great fun, and About 20 laps, I was sweating so much that, I needed a drink but couldn't get one. My mouth was getting dry. It was a little bit of adrenaline there.
Yeah, just a bit. I mean, unfortunately, it was, you and Raphael had such a clean battle, such great respect between you both, and really going up the inside and round the outside and everywhere around. Unfortunately, it came down to a last lap kind of incident with a bit of lap traffic. I mean, let's talk about the lap traffic, because it's such a short lap here. I mean, how did you manage that coming through the field?
Some of the guys, they do pull over in the straight, like in the start-finish straight to the right, and some shouted in the radio where they're pulling over, like on the right and so on. But then there was some who went very slow to the SS. That kind of caught me off guard once, and I was really lucky to survive that. I had to clip the curb on the inside coming into the SS, and I somehow survived that. But in general, it's the lap cars behave very well in this series compared to others. Like it was just a bad luck this time. Actually, in the last lap, coming into the back straight, actually they shifted from fourth to third. I had maybe 14,000 RPM and then clutched in and back to fifth and didn't blow the engine. And I think that used all my luck. And then I had a contact with, I don't know who was it? Was it Donald? It's unfortunate. It just happens.
Yeah, you're right. It's always going to be a threat when there's, of course, 44 cars, one of our biggest grids of the season, on one of our smallest circuits of the season. And Topi, before we let you go, who would you like to give a shout out to here on the Global Sim Racing channel?
If any of the guys from Finnish Endurance Academy are watching, I can only wish you luck for the Bathurst 12 hours.
Well, they shall need it. It's a toughie, isn't it? It's a tough race. Topi, thank you so much for coming to join us in the commentary box, and all the best of luck for the rest of the season.
Okay, thank you. See you.
So that is all we have time for here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We hope you enjoyed the Grand Prix legends here today at Watkins Glen. We have 2 rounds of the season left. Same time again, 8:30 a.m. Eastern every Saturday here on the Global Sim Racing channel. If you love your classic motorsport, we have more today. At 12 p.m. Eastern, we have the Camel GT series with IMSA cars from the 1980s. Absolutely fantastic. And then tomorrow we have the Lotus 79 Grand Prix series for fans of big aerodynamics and ground effect. That is also at that one is at 11:30 a.m. Eastern as well. A huge thank you goes to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcasts, and you can see them here on your screen. Also, an additional thank you to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. A big thank you goes to Ryan, Sean and Dougie for their work on today's broadcast. If you'd like to find out more about us here at the Global Sim Racing channel, you can find out more on our website, globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also check out our social media, Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. You can even represent GSRC at the track by getting hold of some GSRC merchandise, and that's available at gsrc.storeenvy.com. Don't forget to head to our YouTube page and hit the big red subscribe button as well, so you never miss a moment here on the Global Sim Racing channel. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.